Sorry, you're not invited, my parents sneered as security escorted me out of their golden anniversary dinner. They called me a beggar. So I acted like one quiet invisible while I canceled every card, trip, and bill they depended on. Minutes later, my phone buzzed nonstop. And then came the knock. My name is Abigail, 31, the black sheep of my family, and this is the story of how I learned to stand up for myself. I'm sitting here still raw from the sting of betrayal, my voice trembling as I recount the night that changed everything. It was my parents' 35th anniversary at the Riverside Grill, a place dripping with prestige, where crystal chandeliers cast golden light over polished mahogany and the air smells of wealth and roasted lamb. I arrived, heart pounding with hope, clutching a gift plane tickets to Alaska, their dream trip, wrapped in pearlescent paper with a ribbon matching my navy dress. I thought this could be the night we'd finally reconnect, that they'd see me, really see me, for the woman I've become. But when I stepped into that dining room, the world tilted. My father's face didn't light up with joy. "You were not invited," he hissed, his voice a blade slicing through the hum of laughter and clinking champagne flutes. My mother's smile froze, her eyes wide with alarm, not warmth. My siblings, James and Catherine, stood silent, avoiding my gaze. The room grew quiet, 30 pairs of eyes boring into me as I stood there, gift in hand, feeling like a stranger in my own family. "Get this beggar out," my father spat, calling for security as if I were some vagrant off the street. I'd paid for half that party, $22,000 of my own money, but he didn't know. None of them did. I walked out, head high, but inside I was crumbling. By the time I reached my car, tears burned tracks down my cheeks, mascara staining my dress like inky rivers of rejection. Let me take you back. I grew up in a pristine Connecticut suburb, where our house gleamed with curated perfection, manicured lawn, matching Christmas card outfits, the whole facade. My parents, Robert and Diana, were obsessed with status, their lives a performance for the neighbors' approval. My brother James, the golden child, followed Dad into finance, his path paved with praise. Catherine, the brilliant surgeon, fulfilled Mom's abandoned dreams. Then there was me, Abigail, the odd one out, with my sketchbooks and stories. "Art is a hobby, not a career," Dad would sneer, his voice thick with disdain. "We just worry about your future," Mom would add, her words sugar-coated but sharp. I was the disappointment, the one who didn't fit the mold. At 18, I left home, scraping by with 3 jobs to put myself through college, while James and Catherine had their apartments and tuition handed to them. I lived on ramen, slept 4 hours a night, and once landed in the ER from exhaustion. But I never asked for a dime. Pride and grit were my only friends. By 30, I'd built Creative Vision, a design agency that grew from my tiny apartment to a team of 28, clearing 7 figures last year. I out-earned my siblings combined, but at family gatherings, I was just Abigail, no title, no pride. They changed the subject when my business came up, as if my success was an inconvenience. I tried to bridge the gap. For 3 years, I secretly funneled $3,000 a month to my parents when Dad's health forced early retirement and their mortgage loomed. They thought it was some forgotten pension. I paid off $80,000 of James's student loans after his divorce, disguised as a bank forgiveness program. I gave Catherine $50,000 for her house down payment, passed off as a medical grant. And for their anniversary, I covered half the Riverside Grill bill, letting my siblings take credit. I thought it might heal us, that seeing everyone happy might mend the cracks. I was wrong. The morning of the party, I woke with a flicker of hope, rare and fragile. I spent hours getting ready, my navy dress hugging my frame, my hair swept into an elegant updo, the Alaska tickets nestled in their silver envelope. I imagined their faces lighting up, the gratitude, the warmth. Driving to the grill, the sunset painted the sky in hues of amber, and the restaurant stood majestic on its cliff, overlooking the river valley. Valets in crisp uniforms bustled, and the oak doors gleamed under the weight of the restaurant's logo. Inside, the air was rich with the scent of seared steak and fine wine, the kind of place my parents adored for its status. But the hostess stopped me. "Your name's not on the list," she said, her manicured finger pausing on her tablet. My stomach nodded. I'm Robert and Diana's daughter, I insisted, forcing a laugh. Through the doorway, I saw them, my family, already gathered, laughing, clinking glasses. The party hadn't even started, yet there they were, without me. I pushed past, gift in hand, determined to clear up the mistake. But there was no mistake. My mother's alarm, my father's cold stare, my siblings' silence, it was deliberate. You're not invited, Dad said, loud enough for everyone to hear. This is for close family. The words gutted me. Close family. What was I then? I stood there, the gift box heavy, my voice small. I helped pay for this. Dad's face darkened. There's no mistake, Abigail. You are not part of this. The silence was suffocating, guests pretending not to listen while hanging on every word. My mother fidgeted with her pearls. Catherine studied her nails. James sipped his champagne. I brought a gift. I tried, holding out the box. Mom gestured to a table in the corner, dismissing it. You should go, Dad said. This is embarrassing. And then the final blow. Get this beggar out. The word echoed, a dagger to my heart. Even the security guard hesitated, but I stopped him. I'll see myself out. I walked to my car, each step a battle to keep my dignity. In the parking lot, I collapsed behind the wheel, the warm glow of the restaurant mocking me through the windshield. I drove home, tears blurring the streetlights, my father's words looping in my mind. Beggar, embarrassment, uninvited. At home, I kicked off my heels, poured a glass of red wine, and opened my laptop. In my office, surrounded by awards and client contracts, I tallied what I'd done for them. $108,000 in mortgage payments over 3 years, $50,000 for Catherine's house, $80,000 for James's loans, $16,800 in insurance premiums, $12,000 yearly for their subscriptions, housekeeping, landscaping, meal deliveries, and $22,000 for the party where I was humiliated. Over $200,000 given in secret, hoping for love that never came. A text from my cousin Rachel pinged, "Where are you? Your parents said you had a work emergency." A lie. Another from my aunt. "Heard you couldn't make it. You okay?" They'd invited everyone but me. Cold clarity replaced the hurt. I opened my banking app and canceled the $3,000 monthly transfer. I emailed the property management company, terminating their landscaping and housekeeping. I stopped Catherine's remaining $30,000 grant payments. I called the travel agency, canceling the $8,000 Alaska trip. I emailed my accountant, halting all support to my family. Finally, I called the event planner. "Withdraw my funding for the party," I said. "Let them cover the balance." In under an hour, I'd undone $62,000 in immediate commitments, thousands more in ongoing payments. I poured another glass of wine and sank into a hot bath, the water washing away the remnants of mascara and rejection. I grieved the family I'd never had, the love I'd chased for 31 years. The next morning, my phone erupted: 36 missed calls, 17 voicemails, 42 texts. Dad's first voicemail was slurred, angry. "The restaurant says there's a payment issue. Fix it." By 1:20 a.m., he was threatening. "Your mother's in tears. There'll be consequences." Mom's text begged, claiming I'd ruined their night. James accused me of pettiness. Catherine mentioned canceled mortgage payments. By morning, Dad's tone softened. "We need to talk. Please call." I ignored them, went to work, focused on client meetings. My cousin Rachel visited, shocked to learn the truth. "They said you had a work emergency," she gasped. I told her everything: the money, the party, the humiliation. She left, promising confidentiality. That afternoon, my assistant buzzed. "Your father's here." He burst into my office, disheveled, eyes bloodshot. "What have you done?" he demanded. "I stopped paying for a family that doesn't want me," I said calmly. "You called me a beggar after I paid $22,000 for your party." He sank into a chair, stunned. "Why didn't you tell us you were helping?" he asked. "Would it have mattered?" I countered. He had no answer. I left for a meeting, telling him to ask James and Catherine for help. 3 days later, my entire family showed up at my office: Mom, Dad, James, Catherine. I faced them in a conference room, giving them 30 minutes. "Why keep it secret?" Mom asked. "Would you have respected me more?" I replied. Silence. Catherine accused me of punishment. James admitted he didn't know I'd paid his loans. Over $200,000, I said. Mortgage, loans, your house, their lifestyle, all me. Mom gasped. Dad looked broken. Why? He asked. Because that's what family does, I said. I hoped you'd see me. Mom confessed her jealousy, how my success made her question her choices. You outshined us, she whispered. It wasn't shame, it was envy. I refused to resume payments. That chapter's closed, I said. They left, Mom's apology lingering. I'm sorry, Abigail. It wasn't enough, but it was a start. Weeks later, James met me for coffee, admitting his own trapped role as the golden child. Catherine followed, defensive but softening, acknowledging her part. Mom visited, her honesty cracking my walls. I was jealous of your courage. Dad was last, at a park, admitting his pride and fear of my independence. What I said was unforgivable, he said. I didn't forgive, but I listened. 2 months later, we had dinner at their new condo, simple, awkward, but honest. We're learning to be a family without old roles, without my money. I learned my worth isn't tied to their approval. Setting boundaries wasn't anger, it was self-love. If you've ever felt like an outsider in your family, know your value doesn't need their validation. Share your story below. Have you ever had to choose between peace and your truth? Like, subscribe, and let's keep this conversation going.